So you want to hit a more powerful serve in pickleball, but you're not entirely sure how. Well, hopefully in today's episode of Pickle Tips, I can help you out with that because I'm going to be giving you 3 essential tips to help you hit a more powerful serve. So let's get right into it. Before we get into the tips, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And if each and every one of you scrolls down and clicks that big subscribe button, it's free, I really appreciate it, and it actually helps me out a ton. So if you could do that, again, thanks, and let's get back into the video. Now we're out at the court, and there are 3 main things you need to know to hit a powerful serve. And the first of those 3 things is the depth of your serve, so that's what we're gonna be working on now. This is the most important part of any serve, as the deeper you can hit it on the court, the harder it's going to be to return. The reason this is so important is because the returner has to let the ball bounce no matter what. And if the ball bounces shorter on the court, they're gonna have an easier time running up and taking that ball and maybe hitting a harder return. But if the ball bounces deeper, it can put pressure on them and keep them back, which also increases the distance between them and the net, making it a longer time for them to get up there, and also just in general making their return a little bit weaker. So I'm going to be putting some cones out where I want the ball to land, and if you're following along at home, you can use any target. It doesn't have to be cones, but just follow what I do from here on out. All right, so in the returner's box where I'm going to be serving, I'm going to be putting some cones about 3 to 3.5 feet from the baseline. This is going to be the line that I want the ball to land past. I don't want the ball to land in front. Obviously, the game's not over if you do, but to hit a more powerful serve, generally we're going to be trying to hit it past these cones. So with your targets that you have, you can set up a line 3 to 3.5 feet away from the baseline, and that's the place you're aiming. All right, now that my cones are set up, we're going to practice actually hitting the serve. Again, our goal is to hit it past those cones. If you don't each time, that's okay. That's why we're here to practice. Our main goal is getting consistent. I'm not expecting you to be perfectly consistent at the very beginning. Some of your balls might be going short and some of them might be going a little long, and that's okay. That's why we're here to practice. Just keep working on refining your serve and getting it closer and closer to being past those cones and within the baseline, obviously. We'll hit a few more here. And all right, there you go. Now you know the first step to hitting a hard serve. That's depth. Depth is a super essential part of the serve if you want it to be more powerful. Now we can move into our next step, which is following through. Following through by itself doesn't make a hard serve. You still need to combine all 3 things that we're talking about today together to have a more powerful serve in pickleball. If you've already got a pretty fast serve, or you're pretty good at following through in your opinion, you can go ahead and skip this part. I'll put where you can skip ahead to right here. But if not, this part's just as important as all the other ones, so keep watching. The main way that people can be hindering themselves by not hitting a harder serve is because they're not following through the ball. It may not seem like a huge difference, but it really is when it comes to hitting a more powerful serve. Some people will hit their serve like this. Notice how on my serve I made contact with the ball and I just came to a full stop. Some people will do that, and you might be doing it too without even realizing it. It's more common than you think. What you want to do instead is this. Notice how after I made contact with the ball, I didn't just come to a full stop. I kept going and I followed through the ball. That's one of the most important things that you need to learn, especially if you want to have a more powerful serve. So again, from a different angle, some people are doing this, contacting, then immediately stopping, whereas you should be following through like this. Contacting and then keeping your swing going. Not this, you want to do this. And that's it. That's literally all it is. Following through is one of the most important things that you can do to help your serve out. Now, this final part of the serve is definitely one of the most difficult, but it's also one of the most important, and that's putting spin on the ball. And I don't mean side spin, back spin, or slice like this. That's good if you want to throw off your opponents, but it definitely doesn't go into a powerful serve at all. I mean topspin, and topspin is definitely the easiest spin to master, but it's probably the most common and most effective. Topspin is where the ball is spinning forward and it's gonna bounce into your opponents or away from the person who hit it. This is what topspin would look like. Hopefully you can see this. See how it bounces and then shoots forward away from me? That's topspin. So again, bouncing away from me, topspin. Here's the other angle of what topspin would be. Me facing towards my opponent and hitting the ball. I would put topspin on it like this, and it's gonna bounce forward away from me. Here it is again, bouncing away from me. That's topspin, that's all it is. That's topspin, and the reason why this is so important is because when you combine all of the things, you follow through, you're hitting the ball deep, and you've got topspin, if the ball lands here deep on the court and it bounces back into your opponent, they're gonna have such a hard time returning the ball because a lot of times they're gonna get jammed up or they're gonna be hitting it behind them because the ball bounced so fast right at them. And the way you're going to hit topspin might seem awkward and weird at first, but really once you get into the hang of it, it's a super easy habit to build. The way you do it is by hitting the ball, and then after you make contact with the ball, you want to slide up on the ball. You want to brush the back of it upwards. What that does is it causes the ball to get that topspin. So slow, it's gonna look something like this. Notice how I came from low, I contacted the ball, and then I came up high. That's how you're gonna wanna hit topspin. Again, low to high. You're just brushing the back of the ball with your paddle. Something like this. Low to high. So again, I've got the cones set up back there where I want to hit the ball past. I'm working on following through, and I'm working on going low to high to generate topspin on my serve. I'm gonna hit a few of those serves and then I'll come talk back to you. Passed the cone, followed through, got topspin, everything good. Oh, did good following through, did good getting topspin, but it bounced a little bit short. Nice, we'll do a few more. Good, 2 more. Nice, and nice. There we go. And there you have it. These are the 3 steps that you need to have a more powerful serve in pickleball. Once you combine all 3 of these steps, your serve will be much better than it was before, I promise you. And yeah, the best way to work on these shots is just by hitting a bunch of them. There's no specific drill other than putting the targets out like I had and just hitting a bunch of serves. That's the best way to work on it. Now that you've got a harder serve, you can go out and kick some more butt out on the court. There you go. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Pickle Tips all about the serve. Again, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And if each and every one of you subscribes, it's free, helps me out a ton, and I really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.